room would comply. The sound man shtick became a staple of the Larry Norman concert mythology. Norman sometimes made a joke of it. "Hey, could you turn the guitar up on the dial just past where it says folk music?" Other times he griped about the overall volume level in the room. Staring at the PA, he might say, "Back in the war, they used to drop these speakers on the enemy, because they couldn't hear them coming." Legitimate technical issues with his guitar volume aside, Norman discovered the routine had a serendipitous side benefit of putting the audience on edge. Suddenly, this wasn't fun anymore. Larry would apologize afterward to the unfortunate fellow at the concert mixing board, but the more one knows about Larry, the more one wonders whether he was really sorry. In addition to yelling at the sound guy, Norman would startle audiences by criticizing institutional religion and discussing white Christianity's trouble with systemic racism. He mentioned forbidden topics, everything from STDs to contemporary music, film, and art. He was the godfather of Christian rock, but he stated repeatedly in his notebooks and interviews that he felt called to confront Christian culture. This de facto mission statement had varied repercussions. None other than Paul McCartney once reportedly made the remark that Larry Norman could be a star if he'd just shut up about religion. Whether or not the story is apocryphal, it was a sentiment repeated by Entertainment Weekly senior music writer Chris Willman, and is true even if Sir Paul never actually said it. Larry Norman, 1947 through 2008, was a holy fool, often grossly misunderstood, certainly harassed, mostly by fellow Christians, and uniquely constituted to attract controversy. To put it both mildly and crudely, Larry Norman wanted it both ways. He wanted to rock, and he wanted to talk about Jesus. He wanted to follow Jesus and to offend other followers of Jesus, for people to enjoy his music but also be discomfited by it. Larry Norman lived a life of fantasy, especially to people who consider themselves faithful believers. He pretty much did as he pleased. He sang about what he felt, made a living doing what he loved, countenanced no authorities over him, and died a cult hero whose followers and family had to clean up the messes he left behind. Like Søren Kierkegaard's self-understanding, he lived up to the moniker "that individual," the person who is convinced that wherever there is a crowd, there is untruth. I have been fascinated by Larry's career for over 20 years now, and am thrilled to have been given access to his personal archives in order to tell this story, because Larry's story is not his alone. When Time magazine profiled the Jesus movement, the non-drug, non-free love religious youth revival of the early 1970s, they wrote that Norman was probably the top solo artist in the field. From the 1970s onward, this father of Christian rock inspired a dazzling, eclectic group of secular artists. Singers as diverse as Tennessee Ernie Ford and Sammy Davis Jr. recorded his songs. Dizzy Reed of Guns N' Roses cited him as an inspiration. Black Francis of the Pixies claimed he wanted to be Larry Norman when he grew up, and artists as varied as Damien Jurado, John Mellencamp, and Martin Sheen are fans. And then came the politicians. Larry Norman was invited by Jimmy Carter to perform on the White House South Lawn, and invited again to the White House by President George W. Bush. After his death in 2008, the Huffington Post ran a story calling him the most amazing artist you've never heard of. And last but not least, there's Bono. During his publicity tour in support of One, the campaign to make poverty history, Bono came to Nashville, Tennessee, to meet with the leading voices in contemporary Christian music, CCM. After being picked up from the airport, the lead singer and justice activist's first question was whether Larry Norman would be in attendance. Larry had a remarkable gift for finding himself in illustrious company. He rubbed elbows with the writer Michael Crichton right before the film of The Andromeda Strain was coming out, the actress Elizabeth Ashley just after her divorce from George Peppard, and in his early days singing with the band People, he played on bills with Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, the Grateful Dead, the Byrds, and Jefferson Airplane. He even tried, over the course of their friendship, to bring the actor